Hello, this is Ron Climer from Climer School of Real Estate in Orlando, Florida. What I want to talk to you about today is your first interview with your first real estate broker. And let me start by telling you this, and this is the most important thing that you need to know. Mr. Real Estate Broker is just as anxious to meet you as you are to meet him. A lot of people have a little bit of trepidation or reluctance to get in touch with a broker and say, hey, I just passed the test, I'm ready to go to work. But the truth is, Mr. Broker is dying for you to call him because recruiting is very important to a real estate broker. And so they're constantly wanting to recruit new people, especially good people. Now when I say good people, that's people that are here to work. They intend to work, they intend to make money. They understand what's going on a little bit, although the truth is, real estate is so complex, it's just about impossible for most people to know exactly how real estate works. But it is important that you go to work for a good company. Now, here's what a good company is. Number one, it's a company that you like. You know, if you sit down across the desk from the sales manager and you don't like that sales manager, well, it ain't going to get any better. So go find somebody else to talk with. Also, it would be good if they have some sort of training program. Now, everybody doesn't have a sit-down classroom training, although that's what I think is ideal. But there has to be some sort of training program. You got to understand how to write contracts. There's just certain things you got to learn to do. But make sure you have a pleasant environment to work with. You might want to read the company's policy manual if they have one. Just ask the broker if he minds if you do that. Talk to other agents and see how they like it there. Or by the way, just observe. You know, if a company's got agents that's been there 6, 8, 10 years, it must be an okay place to work. But what I want you to do is understand that calling Mr. Sales Manager, and by the way, you don't have to wait till you see an ad in the paper to call a sales manager. If you just got out of Climer School of Real Estate or any other school of real estate, you got your certificate in hand, you're going to take the state exam in a couple of weeks, or you took the exam a couple of weeks ago, you can call any realtor in town and say, listen, I just graduated from real estate school, I'm trying to figure out what to do next, and believe me, he will show you what to do next. He'll invite you to come talk with him, let's get together and see what's going on. Now, when you work for a realtor, and we covered this in licensing school, and it's on the state exam, but yet it's different out there on the street than it is on the state exam. Make sure you understand how much money you make with each transaction. Now, as I said, this was on the state exam, but out on the street it's a little bit different. A lot of brokers have different fees they charge, transaction fees and training fees and errors and omission fees. Here's the question I want you to ask Mr. Sales Manager. Mr. Sales Manager, if I sell a $100,000 house, how much will my check be? And phrase that question just like that. How much will my check be? And go over that with him. Because if they got this fee and the franchise fee and the commitment fee and all this sort of stuff, they're taking out of your check and they tell you you're on a 60-40 split, but when you look at the numbers, it's not. At least you know. Now, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying you don't want to find out when you get your first check. You want to find out on the interview. Now, a couple of things. You're going to have a written employment agreement with the company. You must have a written employment agreement. So if you're going to have a written employment agreement, may I suggest that you read it before you sign it. And you can go interview with 3 or 4 or 5 sales managers. As you know, I have other tapes right here on YouTube of interviews with different realtors around town. And, you know, I got 6. I'm going to try to add some more. But I promise you, I could have 100 of those with sales managers that are interested in recruiting new people. A couple of things you want to make sure you get. Try to get as big a split as you can. 60-40 is good, 65-35 is better, 70-30 is better than that. There's companies that pay 100% split. Now, they probably don't have much of a training program, but there's all kind of things out there. Now, here's something I want you to do. I want you to ask the broker that you interview with, I want you to ask the broker if they have a tuition reimbursement program. That is, if you went to Climer School of Real Estate, you paid us $220 licensing or tuition, and plus you paid $105 to apply for the state exam. Ask them if they'll give you that money back out of your first commission. Now, hardly any of them will volunteer that, oh yeah, we'd love to do that. But if you ask them, many of them will. And so that's just a couple, $300 in your pocket that could be in their pocket. And also another thing I'd like you to ask the broker, or make sure that your employment agreement doesn't have a no-compete agreement. A no-compete agreement, and this was also in the class, although it's not on the state exam, but a no-compete agreement is an agreement that says when you leave one company, you can't go to work for a company down the street. Now this is appropriate for the guy on the Channel 9 News. That would make sense. But this is not appropriate for real estate brokers. If you find somebody that wants to stick a no-compete agreement in your contract, you got a little problem there. Let me tell you something else I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to ask the broker, if I sell my own house, my home where I live, not a rental house, not an investment house, but my home where I live, could I get 100% of that commission or not pay a commission to the company? And if I buy another home where I live, how would it be if you maybe let me have 100% of that commission? Because here's my thoughts. You get into real estate, you're going to go out, you're going to look at houses, you're going to see houses, and you're going to find yourself wanting a nicer house than the one you're in now. Plus, you're probably going to find yourself making more money than you are now. And sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, you're probably going to buy another house. That's just a little savings for you there. And I got a whole bunch of other things that I can tell you about, but here's what I want to make sure you know. And if you get this point, this video has served its purpose. I don't want you to have any reluctance to call Mr. Sales Manager, and you can call any sales manager in town. By the way, you can tell them I sent you. Say, listen, Ron Climer told me to call. Appreciate that. By the way, you might ask him if they have a link to my website and suggest that it would be a good thing if they did. But you can call any sales manager in town and tell them, I just got out of real estate school. I'm ready to start working. Can we get together? I guarantee you'll experience no rejection doing that. You'll experience no anything to be afraid of. And get out and talk with 4 or 5 real estate companies and find the one you like. Find one with a good training program. Find one with a pleasant atmosphere. Find one that you like working for, and read that agreement, start working, and send me a I just got into real estate letter as soon as you start your training program. This is Ron. By the way, if you haven't passed your state exam yet, we got all kind of stuff to help you. Give us a call. We got audio tapes. We got video. You know, if you're here on YouTube, you know we've got the math videos here on YouTube. And so get out and check these out. If we can help you, give us a call. Thanks.